Hey YouTube, how you guys doing? My name is Kyle, you know me as Dragonmar, and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna get a little more technical. We're doing some defensive smokes for Brimstone on the map Haven. This guide is going to be intended for those of you looking to get a little more out of your ranked games, and I'm going to teach you some key tips here on this map to make some really great smokes and make some big plays for your team. Alright, starting things off here on A site on Haven. Now remember, A site's normally played by two players. You have a player short normally and a player playing long. So I like getting aggressive, and one of my favorite smokes is to smoke off garden back there with a smoke like this. And this smoke is going to completely cover the door. It also is going to cover anyone standing back here on these little raised flower beds so they can't see through. And it's going to allow full control of this little lobby here before they come down into short. Now this is great for players like me who like to push up short and get up nice and close and personal with them. And there are a few other options. Option 2 would be a similar smoke, but you're actually going to throw it towards garden and then towards long as well. So this one looks like this, and you have to use a little more utility here, right? You're using two smokes now to sort of get the same effect, but what this is going to do is it's going to funnel all the players, if they come through the smoke, down here to short. So if these smokes, I like to just take a peek like this, see if someone pushes the smoke, and then I fall back. Alright guys, and before we move on to some more smokes, I want to show you how not to smoke some of these spots. So a really bad smoke is going to be something like this, or something anywhere here at the top of short. So if you smoke short like this, you are asking them to have a free push on long. You always want them to be worried about players down here in short. So you never want to smoke this doorway here. And the same with long. The problem here is that this smoke was placed too close to the left side. And what this is going to allow, it's going to allow a player to walk through the smoke over here and be safe and covey without ever being seen. So remember, don't throw smokes like this. If you're going to throw this long smoke, make sure you throw it deeper so that if they want to come out into cubby, now as you can see, you're going to clearly be able to see them walk through this smoke. Next up, we have the orb smoke here. So for taking the orb, you have two options, right? You go deep and you throw a smoke up here at long, just like that. Or you throw a smoke that connects to these boxes here. You know, smoke like this. Either of these is fine. They both work. I prefer this one, and I grab my orb, and I move on with my day. Okay, now let's talk about if site is being taken, and you need to hold off an enemy push, and you have your smokes available. So generally, they're going to be split. Some are short, some are long. Now, what I like to do is I like to smoke off long up here at the top. Then, I like to smoke off the top of short, and I like to play behind this box holding this smoke. It means that the players who are coming up long are going to have to swing onto sight, clear a whole bunch of angles, and I'm going to focus on just this one thing by giving up sight and making sure anyone who pushes through this smoke is dead. Your other option here is to, once again, we'll smoke off long, we'll smoke a little deeper this time so we can clearly see them walk through, but now we're going to smoke off short like this. And what you actually get here is you get this really cool like area that's smoked off. So now they think they have control back here, but actually, I mean, they're stuck, right? And so it gives you some great room to move up, to hold close angles on them. And a lot of the times you're going to find them sitting in this corner here. So if you have a molly available, it's easy for a molly. And that is probably the best tip I can give for holding a site on defense. Okay, so we're on B now, and B is a little more tricky. I'm going to show you some aggressive smokes here, and do with them what you will, but a lot of times you're going to get killed for this. Now, smoking window is always a great option to start our rounds. There's also mollies for this as well, but this smoke here is generally a good way to start your rounds off, and you could throw it right in the beginning. Next, I like to get aggressive. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to throw a smoke right here. It covers the corner of alt mid, and it allows for a nice little walk up like this, except for this angle here is all you have to worry about. You can of course throw the smoke a little bit further over there to the right, and this one can go a little more to the right as well, just so there's no corners. But this allows for an aggressive mid push, and also a lot of times you can get over here in this corner, crouch down, they'll never know you're there. The alternative to that would be to go a little bit more aggressive and throw down 3 smokes total, so you'll actually completely wall off the right side of mid, and you would just straight up walk all the way down here into this corner, and this would be the play you make, because going through these smokes is not really a good idea. This window smoke will generally have someone behind it, so you got to be very careful if you're planning on pushing that. Okay, so I'm going to give a tip that I think a lot of newer players are struggling with, and that is to not smoke immediately at round start. The smoke right here in these doors is a great smoke to use, but it's great in later parts of the round. If you smoke this off immediately, the enemy team hasn't even peeked out a window yet. You guys know what I mean? So this is a complete waste of a smoke, and also it gives the enemy team full mid control here on steps. What you should really be doing is you should be smoking window and then holding for pushes, and then later in the round, then you should be using the smoke. And once again, we want to smoke further into mid so that just a little bit is peeking through on sight. This will disorient people as they try to run through the smoke onto sight. As you can see, you get onto sight right here, and you're still stuck in smoke. I mean, those are easy headshots when people try to run through this. Remember, the further you put a smoke onto sight, the worse it's going to be for you to cover it. Now, we have a very similar story here on Garage. I find players who smoke these doors out and try to get aggressive to be a little silly, a little dumb. I'm guilty of it myself. I think I tried 3 pushes through these doors in one game in a row. I died every single time from someone window. So what I recommend here is, once again, late smokes doors. People get pretty aggressive in alt mid, so if you're playing Garage, it's a pretty tough spot to play, I think. But if you want to smoke off pretty quickly, you can. Obviously, once again, we want to smoke out towards alt mid, leaving just a little bit of smoke on the inside. It'll look something like this. This really helps slow down the aggression, but just be wary of people spamming the doors down. Now, you have another option here as well. You can also smoke window from this position, no problem, so this helps your B player as well. And then you yourself can throw these smokes. It's very, very possible to throw a smoke like this at the start of a round. We have window, and we have the doorway to alt mid smoked. This allows, once again, for some aggressive peeks. Depending on who you're playing and how they play, these can work or these can backfire horribly, so it's really going to be up to you to figure that out as you get a feel for your game. But I like that smoke a lot personally. I find that the majority of players play on this box, behind the box, or around it, and then a select few will run over here. So when you throw that smoke, you just have to be careful of the players who are making a rush to this box here. But I really like that for getting aggressive in alt mid if you're the Garage player. Okay, so let's just, as a scenario, say that the enemy team has started to take Garage and you have smokes remaining. What I would do first is I would re-smoke door, and then I would smoke off the Garage little connector there to C. And this is going to make the push through Garage very hard. It's going to help your C player a lot. It's going to make people wary of walking through the smoke into Garage. And as a player, I would probably play this angle here or like a headshot angle here. As we know, a lot of people are going to be jumping up over on this little step here, and they're going to be pretty much looking for headshot angles. It's totally fine to give up Garage control on this map, but throwing the smoke here into this connector is really essential because you have to help your C player if you're going to give up this much real estate. Okay, finally we have C, and C is a little bit straightforward for this map. Defensively, you have a very, very long hallway here. Very narrow, very long. One smoke is all you need. I would throw that smoke right here. Once again, comes out just a little bit. You're able to play this corner here and this corner here. If you want to play close, you can play far back. And remember, you have 3 smokes to use. Depending on how good your Garage player is, you may be able to hold off this entire part of the map with just smokes, which is wonderful. And once again, I will point out that staggering smokes is very important. If I were to use that smoke at the very start of the round, I would be wasting it. You're going to want to wait about 5 to 10 seconds in, just get a little bit of information, you know, jump, peek a corner, whatever you got to do. Get some information first. If you see players, then smoke. Remember, they're starting way back here, right? So they're not going to be able to run up that fast. It is totally fine to stagger these smokes out. And it really, really, really is going to save you utility, especially if they end up turning around. It's a really important skill to learn, how to save your utility, regardless of what character you're on. This is not just for Brimstone, obviously, but learning to stagger smokes is big. All right, so let's say you get caught by surprise. They've run up long, you're about to lose control, and you're somewhere on site here, you know, cowering in fear. What can you do? Great question. Well, first of all, I'm smoking off this corner over here. I'm smoking off right here. I don't want these guys pushing through. I don't want them to have full site control. Now, what this means is that I have one spot I can really go to, and that's over here on this platform. You're gonna have to jump up, and it gives sort of like a little bit of a headshot angle, but I think this is the best play you can make defensively by smoking off these boxes and the gap here towards back sight. You're really allowing your team for some good rotates. You'll be able to take part of site control. Now remember, you're giving up the plant, right? I mean, people are gonna plant right here. That's fine. What's really important is that you don't give up full site control, because if they start smoking CT back here, your team is screwed and you've messed up big time. And also, I want to point something out. If you're dying with a lot of smokes on Brimstone often, you're probably doing something wrong. And the final thing I want to say about C is that you should always be wary and helping your garage player if needed. It's really important that if they've lost control, you should be able to smoke window if they need it, the connector, or the doors again for them. And the final thing I want to leave you guys with is a nice little angle here. If you throw sort of like a very weak smoke to the left side of this hallway, you get a nice little shot here on the little, I don't even know what it's called. Yeah, C cubby, right? And a lot of people are going to go in there, especially if there's smoke. This smoke probably should have been over a little more to the right, but you actually have this sort of little headshot angle, and you're going to be able to catch a lot of people, especially if you're an opper, because a lot of people will go into that cubby first before they push forward. But with that being said, I think that's all the defensive smokes you're going to need to start doing a little bit better in your Haven matches. These ones are pretty basic once again, but they're really important, and it's really important that you understand how to place smokes and when to place them. The timing of when you place smokes really is everything. The later in the round, the better. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you all soon. Take it easy, and peace.